Today we have with us Mr. Laxminarayan, who is the CXO for Meesho. Meesho is one of the most upcoming and trending fashion and other retail products platform, which is enabling sellers as well as customers to satisfy their supply needs. So, Mr. Laxminarayan, what is the Meesho story, and why should people come to Meesho?
Good. So first of all, thanks a lot for this interaction, having me here, Rizwan. So if I was to talk about the Meesho story itself, right, one of the things that started when Vidit Atre and Sanjeev Barnwal had started this in 2015, the key thing was, if you were to look at the overall e-commerce story, the way it panned out in the country, large parts of the smaller businesses, or say the tier 3, tier 2 sort of geographies and onwards, they were largely left out of the e-commerce. They were not participants in that entire journey, and that's what they set out to solve for. And the overall mission was to democratize internet commerce for everyone and get everyone on board, and that's where it started. And if I was to look at the Meesho story itself and the way it sort of developed, right now we are a full-fledged e-commerce platform that caters not necessarily only to fashion, like you were saying, but to horizontally across all categories, and we continue to add categories at a very, very rapid pace in order to make sure that our consumers are able to get their entire consumption basket, as much of it fulfilled through Meesho itself. And if I was to look at the key proposition, why someone should come to Meesho, either as a seller or as a consumer, this is the platform where you have the right set of customers. So if I was to just give you some stats, right, just over the course of the last 12 months, we had 100 million plus transacting customers on the platform, which is more than 10 crore customers who actually transacted. So there's a huge customer base that exists. A lot of them are new to e-commerce customers who come on board, who are the right kind of Indian customer, if you were to think of it, very price conscious. So the sellers also, who are the small businesses who are dealing with some of these customers in their local catchment, they get access to a much, much larger customer base as well. So it's a win-win proposition, both for customers who are seeking the best value, best quality out there at the lowest price, and for sellers to get pan-India access to a customer base. So that's where I would say that people should look at Meesho. If you're not already buying from Meesho or selling on Meesho, you should definitely come on board.
Well, that's good. So, what are the different products or product categories that Meesho is now offering?
Got it. So it's a very, very wide assortment, like I mentioned. We have close to about 87 million plus lifetime listings that we've had on the platform in terms of products. So it's a very, very large assortment. In that sequence itself, if I was to look at it, we started off primarily on fashion, and that continues to be a big, big growth driver for us from a category perspective. And within that also, it's a wide space. We've expanded into all things fashion, but there are multiple more categories that we've got into, and we've added over the last, say, 12 months. Some of the things being around, say, accessories for mobiles, electronics accessories, books also that have come in. There is a lot more on consumables and, say, stationeries that are there. There are things around fashion accessories, jewelry, many of these things that across platform, if you were to look at it just as a horizontal platform for e-commerce, as you would think of it as a one-stop shop, that's our overall mission, and we continue to add categories at a very, very rapid pace. So until we get there, and grocery has been one of the big additions that we've done as well, because we believe that's going to be a big driver of consumption. If you see for our particular consumer base, huge portion of their overall wallet goes into purchasing or, say, spending on grocery. So grocery from a category perspective has been a big addition as well, and that has its own needs, and that's being scaled up very rapidly. So we are a horizontal e-commerce platform, and we'll continue to add a lot more categories as we grow further.
Any specific categories that you are planning to launch in 2022 going ahead?
So not around, say, some specific categories, because like I said, the way we think of it is that we want to go after the spend and consumption and cater to that. But what we try to do is stay true to the core customer promise, which is to offer the best price at the right quality. That being the case, whatever category we are able to fulfill that particular promise, and we are able to solve that successfully in getting the cost and the overall fulfillment and the pricing right, those are things that we launch. But there is no specific category focus, because being a horizontal platform, right, what we want to do is to make sure that if you as a customer were to come on Meesho, whatever are your needs, you're able to find it and able to transact very easily. So that's our focus.
Well, now talking about sellers, they are a very important component of an ecosystem, typically retail.
Right.
So what is the onboarding process for sellers and their policies and the rules that they need to follow? So can you have some?
Sure, sure. So from a onboarding perspective, at least we've tried to make it as simple as possible. So it's a very easy 3-step sort of process where you register with certain details around, say, your bank account and GST and all of those details, so that you can come online. The listing process itself is super simple, where you can upload whatever are the catalogs in terms of basic images. We'll do a certain quality check on those, and then those can go live. And what we also do is provide support in terms of, say, a key account manager to new suppliers. We also have multiple tools, digitally enabled tools, that help suppliers get comfortable with the platform. For instance, on price recommendation, or be it on ad recommendation or product recommendation, so that they can take an informed call on what is it that will drive the right growth for them with our customer segment. So there are multiple tools that we offer in order to make sure that our sellers are successful on the platform. So that's something that we do. But the onboarding itself is super simple. From a policy perspective, the other part of the question that you asked, we were the pioneers of a zero commission model. So we don't charge any commission. Our revenue model is a lot more from the ads or growth investment that the seller want to do on the platform. So what you as a customer can be assured of is that the best price is coming through to you, and for a seller, you're getting the best realization for whatever you sell. So that's something that is an advantage, and zero commission is something that we pioneered and was a big lever of our growth. But more recently, we've again launched multiple things to make it a lot more seller friendly. Things around, say, zero penalty. So we don't charge any penalties to our sellers. We have the fastest payments in terms of 7-day payments to our sellers to make sure that their working capital cycles are a lot more enhanced. So we have several of these as well from a policy perspective that help them get most success and best realization in terms of building a business online.
Okay. Now, I think let's move to consumers now.
Sure.
Again, they are the people who actually buy your services, buy your products. So how do you, help the consumers ensure that they are getting the correct product, and in case of any disputes, how do you resolve those disputes for the customer?
Sure. So from a, say, overall process, right, the quality check is something that, like I mentioned earlier, from a listing perspective, it gets done at that step itself. But beyond that, the overall, because we are an asset-light business model, and largely there is a lot more focus on technology and using technology to be able to deliver the right experience to customers. So things like ratings and reviews, what is the overall understanding of the product and what was liked or not. We use some of these in our algorithms to make sure that the customers are discovering the products in the right taste and, say, personalized manner that they would like. So that's something that helps a lot in delivering the right experience. But beyond that, again, from a policy perspective, we have returns, which is something that you can use as a customer, say on e-commerce. If you did not like a certain product, or if you had a certain problem with the product, you can actually then return the product within 7 days of delivery, and that's something that will be picked up from you free of cost. And you can, if you have any issues there, again, there are support channels also that exist in order to help you out and make sure that you have a seamless and good experience on the platform.
Well, I think we had a good conversation, and before we go, do you want to say something to your sellers and your customers?
Sure. So I think given our scale overall that we have, I think a lot of the country already shops on Meesho, and there are, say, good number of sellers that are on Meesho. But one thing that I would at least definitely say to, say, your audience who are, say, customers, if you've not shopped on Meesho before, definitely try it out. I think you'll have a great deal and great experience shopping on the platform. To sellers out there who are still having doubts, I would say try it out, and we'll be there every step of the way to make sure that you have a great experience and are able to build your business online.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.